Crystal Stuck here with the St. Joseph Public Library with this month's DIY Why Don't You program. And this time we're going to learn how to book fold. We're going to take an ordinary book like this and turn it into a pumpkin. To find the pattern for this, there will be a link in the YouTube video below. There will also be a link to the pattern on our library website at our library calendar. And very quickly, I want to just show you some other designs that you can make. These are called cut and folds, whereas the pumpkin is just a mark and fold. We're going to make some marks on the page at certain measurements and fold them to come up with a simple design. This is very beginner level, and so that's where we're going to start today. Whereas something like the fireplace has multiple measurements on every page, multiple cuts and multiple folds. Here's another example of a cut and fold. This one is probably one of the most complicated. Every page is folded, so you can see all the words. The apple is recessed a little bit. The word teacher is sticking out. So this is more advanced. Today we're going to just do this. So again, the pattern is linked below. It is a pattern I created, so there's no copyright on it, so feel free to print it, share it, do whatever you want with it. Stick around. At the end of the video, you're going to see this particular book decorated more like a pumpkin. This pattern is sort of looking like an apple, and so if we fan it out when we set it down, we're going to do some things to it. So it's clearly not an apple, but a pumpkin. So stick around at the end of the video and you'll see the finished product. So let's get started. This is the instructions for making this pumpkin book. Also remember to stick around till the end of the video and I will show this painted and decorated up a little bit. First, we're going to talk about the tools that we need to do a mark and fold. Of course, the marking part requires a ruler that has centimeters on it. And I'm pretty sure all rulers have centimeters. You want to just get centimeters, millimeters, and you want that on the zero to be on the right-hand side. That's how you'll use it. I like to use something called an Incra ruler, but this is not required. These are pretty pricey, $30, $40. If you do have one or you do purchase one, you will need a 0.5 pencil lead to use that. The pencil lead has to be small enough to get inside all those little holes. Pencil, you'll need one of those. I prefer a mechanical pencil. That way my lead is always sharp and I don't have to continuously sharpen a pencil. You'll also need something to crisp your pages, to fold them down and get a really sharp fold on those. This is a bone folder, but you can also use things like credit cards, old credit cards and things like that to crisp your pages. You may or may not need a pair of scissors. We'll talk about that later. Most mark and folds, you're not going to need a pair of scissors, but they can be helpful in certain instances. Next thing we're going to talk about is patterns. So you have to have a pattern in order to make the pumpkin. And I've written down the first handful of pages that we're going to use today, but I want to talk about patterns just a little bit more. So your pattern's going to have three components on a mark and fold. It's going to have a page number. It's going to have a first measurement in centimeters, and it's going to have a second measurement in centimeters. You'll notice that this pattern is numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whereas this pattern over here is numbered 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. You'll also notice this pattern has a lot more measurements. This is not a mark and fold, this is a cut and fold. So ignore that. I just want to focus on the page numbers here. So some of them are listed as odd and some of them are listed as continuous numbers. So if you have a pattern that is listed like this, you're going to need to double to get the right number of pages in your book. So for example, let's just pretend that this pattern only had these 10 measurements. You're going to need a book with 20 pages. Whereas this pattern, we only use these 5 measurements. We need a book with 9 pages. So you have to double the pages when the numbers are like that, and you don't when the numbers are like this. You just go to the last page of your pattern. This book, we need 447 pages. We do not double that. Okay, so those are the types of patterns that you'll see. Our pumpkin pattern is odd numbers. You can see that over here. And so we do not double our pages. You will need a book that is 351 pages. Let's talk about the book. Your pattern will also tell you how tall your book needs to be. That's a minimum. So for the pumpkin, you need a book that's at least 18. This pumpkin book was made using a Reader's Digest book, and they're almost always 18 centimeters. You need 18 centimeters for the pumpkin book. Okay, so then we're going to find page 351 in our book, because that's how many pages the pumpkin pattern says we need. So there's page 351. I'm going to put it in my left hand. Then I'm going to go back and find my true page 1. And by true, I mean rarely is the first page of the book really page 1. For example, this one is page 3. So this is page 2, and this is page 1. So I have page 1 through 351 in my hand. On this side, I have a good little chunk of pages left, and on this side, I only have a couple. So I want to even this out because I want my pumpkin to be centered. So what I'm going to do over here is pick up about 10 or 15 pages. And then over here on the left, I'm going to drop 10 or 15 pages. And then I'm going to look at the sides, and those are pretty even. So this is the chunk. This is the 351 I need for the pumpkin pattern. You'll notice that this is actually page 29. That's okay. Rarely does your page number match your pattern page number. That is why it's so important to keep track of where you are in your pattern. I always print my patterns out, and then I use a pencil to kind of check mark off the ones I've done. Okay, so now you have your book. It's the right height. It's the right number of pages. In fact, this one has a little extra, and that's okay. And we're on our starting page. We've determined where we want to start. So you're going to take that book, quarter turn, and set it down. Okay. Then what I like to do is find a weight, something that I can set on that side so I don't have to hold that with my hand, leaving me with my work surface right here. We're going to make all of our marks along this page. This is the top of the book. This is the bottom of the book. This will be 0 centimeters on our ruler. So we take our ruler, we find our 0 centimeters, and we line it up with the edge. Now on this particular ruler, I have some extra ruler hanging off the edge because 0 actually starts with that line right there. And we're leaving just enough paper here for me to be able to mark my measurements. So once you have your ruler where it goes, you come over here to your pattern. And on the first page that we're marking, we're going to do a 9.3 mark and a 10.8 mark. So starting at 0, we come down to 9.3. And so you find the 9. There are 10 millimeters between each centimeter. So you're going to count in 3 and just put a mark. It doesn't have to go all the way to the edge. It can. And it doesn't have to be the most perfect straight mark ever. Our second measurement is 10.8. So we find 10, 10.5, 6, 7, 8, and we mark it. Okay. Take this page, flip it up, and tuck it under. Now we're ready for our next measurement, 8.8 and 11.2. So we take our ruler, we line it up to 0 on the right hand side. We find 8.8, so there's 8, 8.5, 6, 7, 8, and 11.2. There's 11, 1, 2. Mark it, take our page, look that up, put it under our weight, and we are now ready for our next mark. We're ready for page 5. You notice that's our page 33. That's why it's so important to keep track of where you are on your actual pattern, because this number over here doesn't mean anything. Okay, so now we're on to 5. We've got 8.5 and 11.5. So find our 8.5 and our 11.5 or 11.5. Okay, so you are just working your way through your pattern until you have all your marks done. I always go through the whole pattern and do all my marks before I do any folding, because once you're done making your marks, you're done with the ruler, you're done with the pencil, and you're done staring at a bunch of numbers, and you're ready just to fold. So let's talk about folding. So once you're done marking all your pages, you want to go back and find the first page that you did marks on. I still find it most comfortable to have this edge facing me, and I still like to use my weight. Going to take the top corner and you're going to fold it down so that this edge lines up with the first mark that you made. And then you fold that down. You take the bottom corner, bring it up so that the edge goes with the second mark that you made. This is where your bone folder or your credit card, whatever you have decided to use to help crease your pages, then you crease them, tuck it under your weight, and you're ready for your next page. Take this edge, line it up with the pencil mark that you made. And don't worry if this isn't like completely straight. I mean, it could be like that technically. The whole idea is to have the edge of that paper mark, that corner, line up with that mark that you made. Bring the bottom edge down, line it up with your mark, crease it. Creasing is very important. You may feel like it's creased enough just by your hand, but really creased pages make for a crisper looking, sharper, more detailed design when you're all done. Okay, so you work your way through your book, doing all of your folds. And when you are done with that, then you end up with this, believe it or not. Now, I want to just take a quick moment to talk about where scissors might come into play on a mark and fold. Sometimes your measurements can be way down here and way up here, and that's fine. But what if they're both way up here or way down here? So let's just put 2 quick marks here on our page, and we bring this corner down to that one, no problem. But when we go to fold this one up, it overlaps over here and it's attached here. You can't pull it up enough to do that fold. So there are a few things that you can do. You can go ahead and just zone in on your mark and the paper that's folded over right there. Now my hand's in the way here. So your mark, as long as there is a fold right there, this does not have to come all the way up here. You can just have your fold out here in a weird triangle. Okay. This is what people are going to see on the outside of a book fold. They're going to see this corner and this corner. They don't see what's going on in here. All right. But the other thing that you can do is cut off some of the unused page down here at the bottom And then this is going to come up like you're used to. And then you're just taking this half page and tucking it under and going on. Okay? So that's kind of an example of where you might find yourself using scissors, but there's also a way to do that with no scissors. So it's just a personal preference. All right, stick around and I'll show you the finished pumpkin. Hi, we're at the end of our program and I just wanted to show you the pumpkin book. I added some green ribbon to kind of be like the leaves of a pumpkin. And then I did dry brush using a brush and some orange paint. And I just put a little orange paint on my brush, wiped most of it off on a paper towel, and squeezed these together, dry brushed the edges of the pumpkin, and then voila. Be sure when you set it down that you fluff it out so that the pumpkin is more elongated so that it doesn't look like an apple. And you could add some fall leaves around on the table underneath your pumpkin if you wanted, fake or real. And so that is it. If you have any questions, my name is Crystal, and you can contact me at the St. Joseph Public Library. And have a good day. Thank you.